Oh man, I haven't heard that music in a very long time. I used to play Killer Instinct Gold on the N64 back when I was pretty new. I remember playing a little bit in the arcades, but I've never played the Super Nintendo game, so I was really happy to find this for like less than $5 at a yard sale. I think it's the one thing I remember the most about Killer Instinct, strangely enough, is actually the soundtrack. Alright, trying to get used to the controls here now. Looks like my capture card's having some issues. Oh, jeez. Yeah, I'm gonna have to turn this off, turn it back on, give that another shot. Don't know what's happening there. Alright, seems to be working fine. Going back in here with a different character, trying some stuff out. I really like the roster of characters. I remember most of them from Killer Instinct Gold. Is really, to me, like, there's not as much of a difference between this and Gold as I was expecting. I mean, Gold definitely is a little bit better in just about every respect, but graphically it really holds up. This looks fantastic for a 2D fighter on the Super Nintendo. I think, though, the thing that's always stood out for me in my memory the most with Killer Instinct has always been the soundtrack. I mean, it's a fun fighting game series, looks great, plays great, but for some reason the soundtrack and the announcer's voice, you know, killer combo and like all that stuff, that is, to me, is what I think of first when I think of Killer Instinct. That's the thing that's the most memorable to me. The aptly named combo here. Oh, come on, damn it. There we go. There we go. Getting a little bit better with 15-20 minutes of practice here. That's one thing that I do definitely remember, and feeling it a lot playing it here again for the first time. This one, Killer Instinct Gold, I remember. Now with this Killer Instinct, I'm noticing the same thing. I definitely have to refigure out and try and recall and remember how to do all the different combos and combo breakers, because it's one of those games that without that you're really kind of pathetic. Like, you really can't do much without learning all the different combos, the different characters, and even more importantly, I feel like combo breakers. That really is the heart, like the meat of the game. All the just regular moves don't really do that much on their own individually. It's all about stringing together combos and breaking your opponent's combos and coming back at them with your own string of combos, and that back and forth. And that's the thing I'm gonna have to practice and relearn here. But not doing too terrible. I'm holding my own. There we go, come on. Oh, crap. One thing that I'm pretty sure from what I've seen so far is missing from this one that I played a lot with friends. I didn't check out the tournament mode on this yet, obviously, but I remember playing team matches a lot against friends, and I would just pick like a string of Jagos, like fill out whatever it was, like 6-on-6 or something like that. I'm trying to remember, but it would just be like the character select screen. It'd be like Jago, 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 and just because for some reason I was really good with them back then. One thing though, I would like to go back and play Gold sometime, but the one thing I hated, I always wished it was on a different system, just because the D-pad for the N64 and the N64 controller in general just isn't that great for fighting games. It's just not really set up for that. It works well for things like Mario, a lot of 3D platformers, but for fighting games, I don't know, that controller just was not good for that. I'm not doing half bad considering I don't remember any combos and haven't figured any of them out. Supreme victory. Yeah, this will be a fun one to play. I definitely want to try and get my wife to play this with me sometime. I think she'll like it. She's strangely good at fighting games. She's like a savant when it comes to fighting games for some reason. She'll just like pick one up and be like at least like half decent first time playing it. I don't know, maybe she's filled with an inner rage that fuels her fighting game talents. But yeah, so far I'm really impressed with the first Killer Instinct. Oh crap! On the Super Nintendo, graphically it really holds up. I mean, the sound is fantastic. I love the soundtrack and the sound effects. The announcer, just something again they said very memorable. It's still really, I mean, really looks great. I'm just really surprised at how good it still looks. And I think it holds up. I think people who aren't familiar with the series at all could still get into this and play it. It feels really smooth. It's a lot of fun to play. It works really well. I actually am starting up. I'm actually starting to get used to using the shoulder buttons for like punches and kicks along with the face buttons. At first I was having a little trouble with that, didn't really like that layout, but yeah, I think that's one with time. I'm going to have more and more fun with this. I'm going to continue playing this for a little while. Thanks for checking out my first impressions of Killer Instinct. Is this a game you grew up with at all? With the Super Nintendo Killer Instinct? Do you play Killer Instinct Gold? What are your impressions of that on the N64? And do you have any tips at all for playing this one compared to Gold as far as getting used to doing all the combos and combo breakers and stuff? I'd like to hear that down below as I try and practice and at least be adequate.